All right, hey everyone. Let's jump into the world of cloud computing.
Mm-hmm.
More specifically for those of you who are prepping for the CCSP exam.
Yeah.
Those super fun questions about cloud concepts.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's favorite.
Right. But we are here to help you kind of break them down.
Yeah.
And really understand what's going on.
Absolutely. It's not enough to just memorize definitions. You need to really internalize and understand the core concepts of cloud computing.
I love that.
And most importantly, how to secure it.
Yes. So we've got a ton of resources here.
We do.
We've got NIST, ISO, Gartner, and even some real-world examples. And I think our goal today is to not just know the definitions, but explain them.
Yeah.
Apply them.
All right.
And most importantly, secure them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's start with NIST.
Okay.
The NIST definition of cloud computing. It's the gold standard, the one you'll see everywhere.
Absolutely. The one you need to know for the exam.
Yeah, but it can be a little dry.
It can be a little bit technical.
Yeah, so can we break it down a little bit and make it more relatable?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a great idea. So think of it this way. Cloud computing is like having a giant IT department at your fingertips.
Okay.
You need more computing power. You just ask for it.
Okay.
You need more storage space. It's there. The best part is you only pay for what you use.
It's like ordering takeout instead of building a whole kitchen.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh.
Okay, so that's convenient, but like, what does that mean for security? We can't just call up the cloud and be like,
Right.
hey,
Exactly.
can you make sure this is secure?
Exactly. Security is where it gets interesting. That on-demand, self-service nature of the cloud means we need to think about security in a whole new way.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, a hacker is trying to break into a traditional data center.
Uh-huh.
They've got physical barriers to overcome security guards,
Yeah.
all sorts of obstacles.
Right.
But in the cloud,
Yeah.
those barriers are more virtual. Access can be granted or revoked with a few clicks.
Oh, wow.
So this means you need robust access controls and constant vigilance to make sure only the right people are getting into your systems.
So it's like we're trading physical locks for digital ones.
Yeah,
But they need to be super strong.
exactly. And constantly monitored.
Okay.
Now, the NIST definition also talks about ubiquitous access,
Okay.
meaning you can access your cloud resources from anywhere.
Yeah.
This is incredibly powerful for users, but it also expands the attack surface exponentially.
So it's like having doors to your data center
Yeah.
all over the world.
Everywhere, all over the world.
How do you secure that?
So this is where understanding the shared responsibility model is really, really crucial.
Okay.
Cloud providers are responsible for securing the underlying infrastructure,
Okay.
physical servers, the networks. But you as the customer,
Uh-huh.
you are responsible for securing everything you put into the cloud.
Gotcha.
Your data, your applications, your configurations.
So it's a team effort,
It is.
but we need to be super vigilant about our part.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And this is something that the CCSP exam really, really emphasizes.
Right. And that brings us to another key aspect of cloud computing, which is resource pooling.
Okay.
So the cloud provider takes all these computing resources, servers, storage networks, pools them all together,
Okay.
and then slices them up
Okay.
and hands them out to different customers.
Wait, so you're telling me that, like, my company's data could be sitting right next to someone else's data
Potentially.
on the same physical server?
It's possible.
Is that safe?
So that's where multi-tenancy comes in.
Okay.
Cloud providers use really sophisticated isolation techniques
Okay.
to make sure that your data and applications are separated from other customers,
Mm-hmm.
even if they're sharing the same physical hardware. But from a security perspective,
Yeah.
you still need to be aware of this shared environment.
Okay.
Think about it this way.
Hmm.
If another customer on the same infrastructure has a security lapse,
Mm-hmm.
it could potentially have ripple effects.
Whoa.
It's like living in an apartment building.
All right.
You lock your door.
But you want to make sure your neighbors are doing the same thing.
That's a really good analogy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm starting to see how these like really technical definitions actually have a huge impact
Yeah.
on real-world security.
Huge.
And this is all stuff that's going to be on the exam.
Absolutely.
Right.
This is critical for the CCSP.
Okay.
The exam is going to test your understanding of these concepts in depth.
Okay.
You're going to need to know how to apply them to design secure cloud architectures, implement security controls, and respond to incidents.
All right. So
We're just getting started
we're just scratching the surface here.
with breaking down these definitions,
Absolutely.
but we'll keep going. Okay, so we've talked about NIST, but I know there's, other definitions out there.
Yeah.
Do we have to know all of those too for the CCSP?
You know, While the NIST definition is considered the most comprehensive, understanding the nuances of different perspectives can be really helpful,
Okay.
especially for tackling those essay questions you might see on the exam. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, what else is out there?
Well, one prominent example comes from ISO/IEC.
Okay.
They really emphasize scalability and elasticity.
Okay, so what does that even mean?
Think of it as the cloud's ability to stretch and shrink based on demand.
Okay.
So say you need to handle a sudden surge in traffic, like a
Yeah.
Black Friday sale.
Yeah.
No problem. The cloud can just scale up instantly,
Oh, wow.
and once things calm down, it scales back down
Okay.
to save you money.
So it's like super efficient.
Exactly.
Okay. But how does that relate to security?
Well, this rapid scaling can actually create security challenges if it's not managed properly.
Okay.
For example, imagine an attacker launching a DDoS attack.
Well, yeah.
The cloud's elasticity allows them to spin up a ton of resources really quickly to amplify their attack.
Okay.
So you need to have security measures in place that can adapt just as quickly.
So like fight back.
Exactly. It's like a constant tug of war.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so ISO/IEC. What about Gartner?
Yeah, so Gartner highlights the service-based nature of cloud computing.
Okay, hold on. Can we rewind a little bit?
Sure.
What does service-based even mean in this context?
It means you're not buying hardware and software
Okay.
like you would in a traditional data center. Instead, you're subscribing to services.
Okay.
Things like storage, databases, or even entire application platforms.
Oh, so it's like subscribing to Netflix
Exactly.
instead of buying DVDs.
Exactly. You're essentially renting the IT capabilities you need.
Gotcha. Okay, but where does security fit into all of this?
Well, when you're using cloud services, security becomes a shared responsibility.
Okay.
The cloud provider takes care of securing the underlying platform, while you, the customer, are responsible for securing everything you build or deploy on top of it.
Okay, so it's a partnership.
It is.
But that can get tricky, right?
It can.
Like, where does their responsibility end and mine begin?
Right. That's where understanding the SLA is critical.
The what?
The service level agreement.
Okay.
It outlines the provider's security obligations.
Right.
Things like data center security, physical access controls, basic network protection. It also specifies what you, the customer, are responsible for,
Okay.
such as securing your applications, managing user access, and encrypting sensitive data.
So knowing all this SLA stuff is super important for the exam.
Absolutely.
That's
And
what-
for anyone working with cloud security in the real world.
Okay, it seems like a lot to keep track of.
It is. There's a lot of moving parts.
But I guess that's why we're doing this deep dive, right?
Exactly. Understanding these nuances is what sets apart a true cloud security professional
Okay.
from someone who just knows the basics.
Yeah.
And that's what the CCSP is all about,
Okay.
preparing you for those real-world challenges of securing the cloud.
So we've talked about NIST, ISOEC, Gartner. Are there any other, perspectives that we should be aware of?
You know, it's interesting to think about how all of these definitions, while different in their emphasis, ultimately point to the same fundamental shift in how we think about IT. The cloud has fundamentally changed the game, and that's reflected in how we define it.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not just about the words. It's like the whole impact
Exactly.
that cloud has had on everything.
Absolutely.
So speaking of impact, our sources mentioned some real-world examples
They did.
of how businesses are using the cloud.
Yeah.
Maybe we can use those to see how all of this stuff actually plays out in practice.
I think that's a fantastic idea. Let's dive into some real-world scenarios
Okay.
and see how these abstract concepts translate into concrete security challenges and solutions.
Okay, so let's connect all of this back to the big picture.
Yeah.
How has cloud computing changed the world of IT?
Yeah.
And what does it mean for security professionals?
Yeah.
Especially those prepping for the CCSP exam.
Especially for those folks. Yeah.
Our sources mentioned a bunch of benefits that come with cloud computing. Reduced costs, increased agility, global reach, rapid innovation.
Yeah. It sounds like a dream come true for a lot of companies.
It does.
But remember, every advantage for legitimate users
Yeah.
is also a potential advantage for attackers.
Okay.
The same tools and techniques that allow businesses to operate more efficiently can be exploited by malicious actors.
So it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
No, definitely not.
Can you give us some specific examples of how these cloud benefits can actually turn into security nightmares?
Yeah, sure. So let's take global reach, for instance.
Okay.
Your data and applications could be hosted anywhere in the world, which means your attack surface is potentially global.
Wow.
Attackers could be launching attacks from any location.
Right.
This makes traditional security perimeters a lot harder to define and enforce.
So instead of guarding one fortress,
Right.
we're now trying to secure a network of castles
Exactly.
all over the globe.
All over the world.
That sounds really hard.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It calls for a different approach to security.
Yeah.
We need to shift from that perimeter-based defense to a more data-centric model.
Okay.
This is where concepts like zero trust come into play.
Okay.
Instead of assuming everything inside the network is safe,
Yeah.
we verify every access request, regardless of where it's coming from.
So it's like having a security checkpoint at every door,
Yeah,
even within the castle walls.
exactly.
It's a lot more work, but probably a lot more secure.
Right. It's a lot more work up front, but it pays off in the long run.
The CCSP exam covers this, right?
Absolutely. And really adopting a mindset of agility and adaptability.
So we need to be as agile as the cloud itself.
Exactly.
So the CCSP exam pushes this continuous learning aspect.
It does. Domain 8, Cloud Application Security, focuses on securing applications that are built specifically for the cloud.
Yeah.
This includes understanding things like containers, serverless computing, and microservices, all relatively new technologies that require specialized security knowledge.
So it's not just about memorizing static information.
Yeah.
It's really equipping yourself to handle whatever comes up.
Right. It's about developing that deep understanding of cloud concepts, identifying potential threats, and implementing effective security controls.
So for our listeners out there who are maybe starting their cloud security journey and are prepping for the CCSP exam, what's the one thing you want them to take away from all of this?
I want them to remember that cloud security is not just a technical challenge. It's a mindset shift. It's about embracing the unique characteristics of the cloud, understanding the shared responsibility model, and continuously adapting to those new technologies and threats.
So it's being proactive, staying informed, and constantly challenging our assumptions.
Yes.
About security in this cloud-driven world.
Exactly.
Well said. I think that's a great place to wrap up
I agree.
this deep dive. So listeners, don't forget, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Keep learning. Keep exploring.
Yeah. Dive into those resources we mentioned.
Yes, definitely. And connect with other cloud security enthusiasts out there.
Yeah. The more you learn, the better prepared you'll be
Absolutely.
to tackle that CCSP exam and build a really successful career in this field.
It's a great field to be in right now.
It's a booming field.
Yeah.
Lots of opportunity.
All right. Until next time, stay curious, stay secure.
And keep diving deep.
See you later.